Is the honeymoon over as Bambu Labs' security update aggressively changes their policy, limiting access to slicers, accessories, and possibly even your printer itself? What does this mean for you, and should you care? This is PrintFix Friday, episode 176. Let's get into it. Yes, once again, Bambu Lab is changing the game when it comes to 3D printing. But this time, it's not so pleasant with their latest firmware update, 1.08.03 and above for X1 series printers. They've introduced security features which just reek of DRM control from the brand new Prusa, Bambu Connect. Bambu Connect. Got it. To the updated terms and conditions in their terms of use that are almost carte blanche like control over your printer should you choose to go a different way. See, this new app comes along with a major change: the inability to directly control your Bambu printers from third-party programs like Orca Slicer. And while Bambu claims they're working with Soft Fever's own social media seems to reflect differently. While they were working together, they are no longer working together, and it is a little bit messy. Their first blog post here is absolutely laden with fear-mongering, linking 3D printed related security breaches that have nothing to do with them. How's it feel, FlashForge? We're gonna be talking about that next week, so I guess get subscribed if that's your kind of thing. And then they mention abnormal traffic and attacks, but these are all expected due to LAN mode being crippled by Bambu themselves in a previous firmware update that happened sometime late 2024, if memory serves me correct, forcing third parties like Big Tree Tech with their really cool Panda Touch that enables X1 Carbon-like features on the P1S to utilize cloud and no longer the local MQTT protocol, which was easier and considerably less taxing on servers. And while it does say that they're working with third parties, it also states that unauthorized third-party software will be prohibited from executing critical operations. You know, like being able to control your printer on or off. It was always about limiting third-party software and devices, and they even admitted to it. Blog 2 also discusses baseless claims that Bambu will brick printers and block them from printing, but an update to their own terms of use, which you can see right here, says, due to the importance of these updates in 7.4, your product may block new print job before the updates is installed. So literally, yes, they can brick your printer. They can keep it from being used. So I'm sorry, Bambu, your own terms of use directly disagrees with the first line where you say that these claims are entirely false. And we've seen this behavior in the past, when yours truly blew the top on the 3MF exploit that enabled X1 Plus to even be a thing, where Bambu forced users to update their firmware or lose cloud functionality. Like, this is not the first time we've seen it, and since then, Bambu and X1 Plus have been working together, but there's no guarantee for compatibility long-term as of filming this video. Also, there's no secure firmware timeline for the P and A series printers as of recording either. We could easily go into all the blog editing that was done before the second blog went up, making the first one look better, but Louis Rossman did a better job than we ever could, and we'll card to his video. And frankly, his first video on this topic really hits the nail on the head for me, saying this.
Who the are you to tell me what I'm authorized to do with my own printer?
I agree. It's mine. It's my printer, and I need it now.
It's my money, and I need it now!
Bambu is attempting to not only control the narrative here, but gaslight users into believing they missed something, don't understand something, or all this security function is something that's well above their head. But if Bambu Connect, my mouth has been speaking faster than the brain here. Why was the code reverse engineered, the keys dumped, and everything exposed within 24 hours of the beta release going live? It's not about security. It's about future DRM and removing your ability to choose for your product. Mind you, the 24 hours is not really a measure of the security of the software, more of a measure of how upset the community is at this entire thing overall. It takes a lot to piss off developers like this, where they're going to go and completely reverse engineer your software in 24 hours. That doesn't mean anything about the software's actual security. It just shows you the community was really, really adamant about this being a specific thing that they didn't like. Remember Big Tree Tech? Well, their fancy Panda Touch, which brings X1 Carbon experience to the much more affordable P1S that enables control of multiple printers. You know that thing? Yeah, that thing will be a useless brick after this update, but Big Tree Tech was thinking ahead because you can actually flash the Clipper software onto it and still use it. But realize your machine might have already downloaded this firmware if you have auto updates turned on. But as of filming, it's not too late to roll back. You just have to use the Handy app, which does beg the technical question. If they're limiting usage on the Handy app, what do we call that? Myself and Jacob of Construct 3D had a nice discussion about this. We'll link to a podcast right above there where you can go listen to 3.5 hours of us talking all about this. See, the Bambu security architecture is already, well, decently secure. They've made enough mistakes to figure it out. And they're using TLS, which they started back in 2022, which is an industry standard which makes things like packet sniffing difficult at best, and in most cases, pretty much impossible. But Bambu states that you even need Connect in LAN mode because even when the printer is in LAN mode, the network environment in which the printer is located may still be connected to the public network, and other malicious software may still be able to remotely access the printer. In addition, other network devices or software in the local network may not be secure, such as Trojan horse software or other backdoor software, which may run on computers or handheld devices, or may also run in embedded devices. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but what I will tell you is that the security of your own LAN, local area network, LAN, is your responsibility, not Bambu's. It is not on Bambu to make sure that your LAN is secure. And if your LAN has Trojans, backdoors, and things like that, you've got other issues you need to be working with. Windows Defender takes care of most of this. Stop going to the sketchy websites that are now illegal in Florida. This is ridiculous. This is a company trying to limit your ability to use your things on your own network because they apparently don't trust that you know what you're doing. Bambu, I want to remind you that it was none of us that had a 2+ year 0-day exploit that was where your machines would unpack any file that was labeled .3mf. It was you guys, not us. It is our responsibility to maintain our local area network, not you. Bambu Connect should not under any circumstances be required for a local area network, and that is a ridiculous reason, and they're banking on that you, the user, don't understand what any of that means. And that's bullshit in my opinion. And so I guess that really begs the question of, was this even secure in the first place? Like, in theory, it should totally be. Are we being clued into a 0-day exploit that none of us knew about or nobody was public about? Or is it just a red herring meant to throw you off of the scent of the impending DRM? Well, looking at Bambu Connect, this new firmware shows us all we really need to see. And it's not about security. The only change in this new firmware, from what we can see right now, is that this authorization method changes. New messages are encrypted using a certificate that Bambu can choose who to provide access to. Even if the user decides to offer a service with full access to their printer, Bambu will reject its certificate because it's an unauthorized third-party software. Therefore, when Bambu says unauthorized third-party software will be prohibited from executing crucial operations, what they really mean is that third-party software that they have not authorized will be crippled. And to date, no third-party software has been approved even when devs of those third-party companies have reached out to Bambu and tried and tried and tried. Therein lies the danger of this whole change. No third-party company has been allowed to date, and the ones that have tried have been denied. This is what Bambu tells you for how Bambu Connect works. But this, in our opinion, is actually how it works. Orca Slicer, a third party, can go to the printer control, which is that Bambu Connect. Bambu Connect pushes a certificate that it gets from the cloud server. But if you have blocked internet, none of this is able to communicate properly, and the certificate itself doesn't get downloaded. See, this new software requires you to be online to utilize these features, even in LAN-only mode. You still have to have this stuff connected. If this isn't about control and potentially data collection, then what is it about? Bambu Lab now gets to control who is allowed to improve features of their machines, and users have to willingly hand over that control, because if you don't, their terms of use state they can block you from using your printer. And Bambu can ensure that entry-level printers remain entry-level printers in spite of the limitations being artificial or easily overcome with some third-party hardware, like the Panda Touch. Their concession of allowing a LAN dev mode is a step in the right direction, of course, but this LAN dev feature needs to be an option in both cloud mode and LAN-only mode for users to really benefit. Any cloud access can still use their new authentication, but users should be able to decide for themselves whether or not to trust the devices on their LAN, irrespective of whether or not their printer is running in cloud mode or LAN-only mode. I would think that saying LAN trust is a better way for this, but whatever. And oh yeah, according to their blog, once you enable this developer mode, you give up your rights to support. Saying right here, please note that Bambu Lab will not be able to provide customer support for this mode, as the communication protocols are not officially supported. So by trying to take back some of your rights, you're also giving up big ones. So I have to pass it to you all here. Is this okay? Let me know in the comments. This makes me incredibly uncomfortable with the way that things are going with these machines. This to me feels like all we're doing is just limiting someone's ability to use their effing machine. This is not the way this company was built. Well, it kind of was. Except they built it upon the shoulders of open source giants and are now taking their ball and going home. For what we can tell is honestly no reason, other than, you know, control. But Grant, you may ask, isn't this illegal? Well, no, not in the United States at least. We really don't have great consumer protection here in the United States, but countries like the UK and the EU, that could be a whole nother story. I'm not an expert on their laws, look it up, but from my cursory inspection, this isn't all that legal, but check your local laws and all of that kind of thing. And I'll leave it up to the people in the comments that do live in those areas to, you know, inform those who do want some informing. And hey, while you're down there, leave a like, get subscribed. It helps the channel grow and costs you nothing. Deep dives into this take a ton of time. I'm over 80 hours, actually coming up on 100 hours now, of research and prep for this video alone. Technically, this is also not my first take. So any way that you guys do want to support this channel would be great, monetarily or otherwise. To put it bluntly, Bambu Connect is dangerous in that it is a closed source bridge that can be changed to a toll road at any moment. You can choose to pay the toll.
You gotta pay the toll.
Or you can take the long way home, which is the SD card. And if you don't believe me, check out this thread about the farm software where you can clearly see there is a DRM control in place here for new future software. And is that necessarily an issue? No, not really, but having a farm software would help many, especially since the normal way of doing things, right now at least, is fine, but could end up being quite messed up down the road with locking out third-party hardware. But having to pay for it will sting quite a bit, I'm assuming. But the bigger risk here is that the software, this Bambu Connect, ties your machine and this software together with a key. Currently, the program built an Electron using a minimum 600 megabytes of RAM constantly when in use, shout out Chrome users, communicates with a cloud server to make sure the key matches and is cleared to continue. Since you have to log in, your account is now known, it is tied online, and in theory, since they have not done this yet, but is well within their power and purview of software like this, they can pull the authentication key, refuse to give a new one, and basically lock a user to sneakernet only. And before you start typing that Bambu would never do that, we've seen them be retaliatory in the past. Remember Nathan Builds Robots? Yeah, he was an affiliate with Bambu Lab until they pulled his ability to be an affiliate after he put out a scathing review of their machines, and have never reinstated to my knowledge. This is pure retaliation and not something that we want to see from companies out there. In fact, we think that that is absolutely deplorable, that companies should not be punishing content creators for sharing their truth. I'm absolutely on Bambu's list for sharing my truth and blowing the lid on their zero-day exploits. That's not my fault. I'm the one bringing the news. If they have a problem with that, that means they just want to control the narrative. I'm sorry, if you don't like it, do better. That's all I gotta say. But we've seen Bambu be retaliatory in the past. It is within their ability to do it with this software. Will it happen? We don't know. Only time will tell. Certainly as a creator that is not under a non-disparagement clause with them, I'm not gonna use this software. I guarantee you, if they are retaliatory, your boy's getting a backhand. But Grant, you're possibly typing right now, what if I air gap all the things like you said? Then they can't get to me. Well, that is handled too. Since Bambu Control is a key-based system, those keys expire. Right now, it's a 1-year expiration for when the program was made, which was December 11th, 2024. So on the 12th of 2025, if your machine is fully air-gapped the whole time, its ability to receive new print jobs will theoretically stop unless a new key is generated. For this, both Connect and your printer must be online. You see the issue here? And let's not even mention the possible holdout for Bambu to inject firmware without your consent, you know, as a necessary security upgrade. But it gets worse. Bambu is even limiting users' abilities to even discuss this, with users getting banned from Reddit for seemingly pointless reasons, like expressing their opinions, to the point where if you mention ban in their Discord, you get muted for multiple days. And users were forced to create the subreddit Open Bambu to circumvent the employee meddling. Is any of this illegal? No, it's not, but it is below the belt in my opinion. Users should not be forced to create their own safe spaces because of company censorship like this. Sure, there are times where mods need to step in, but this is not one of them. If anything, the users posting will give information to the company, whether purposely or otherwise. I feel more of Bambu trying to control the narrative here. They've been gaslighting users and ultimately losing the trust of once fanboys that would have said terrible things about me in my comments. I read the comments. Y'all are mean. We've been saving them. Stay tuned. So what can users even do here? How can you stop this? And, well, based on their terms of use, you can't. At least indefinitely, you can't do anything. We would immediately and purposefully recommend that you turn off auto updates on your printers if it is on. Downgrade your machine if it did already download and install that update. Then look to completely taking it offline or minimally running it in LAN-only mode. If your PanaTouch does fail for some reason, again, know that Big Tree Tech does allow you to flash the Clipper software on there, and they designed it for that level of ultimate freedom. You know, something that we all want. And I'll tell you, BTT has done an amazing amazing job with updating their users and being as transparent as humanly possible, even when Bambu says that they haven't been. We can see here that Bambu is saying that Big Tree Tech is spreading misinformation, saying that we reached out to Big Tree Tech as soon as we became aware of their product. We've warned them against using exploited MQTT protocols, was unsustainable, and would place customers in an awkward situation once we updated the system. By the way, it wasn't an exploited MQTT protocol. It's a normal MQTT protocol that they're utilizing the way Bambu didn't like, so Bambu's calling it an exploitation. All this communication occurred before the mass shipment of the Panda Touch. However, they chose to ignore our warnings. Unfortunately, the truth is now being presented in a misleading manner. The same concerns apply to other products they manufacture that rely on these MQTT protocols. I don't understand how it's being misrepresented when literally right on their website, the first thing tells you it is currently compatible up to these versions. And it has the entire thing saying, hey, just so you know, it might not work long term. They're being completely open and honest. The only ones here that appear to be not open and honest is Bambu. And well, that's showing. Their reviews on Trustpilot are a spicy 1.7, with 71% of people providing a 1-star review, with claims of false advertisement, very concerning policy changes, and when, hey, you want to compare them to their biggest competition, Prusa Research, 4.6 with 8,500 reviews. Bambu Lab with 1,300. I just calls them as I sees them. And hey, a little birdie tells me that Big Tree Tech is working on the Panda Cyborg, which I do think is a cool name, and thanks to Jeff Geerling for posting that online. And I'll let you figure out what that means. Hint, it's new boards. Users have a right to choose, and companies should not, and in some places cannot, limit your use like this, effectively turning your ownership into a lease. OGs of the channel will understand that reference. And in talking with the glorious Canuck creator, Mr. Nero3D himself, he suggested a solution that we all can agree upon. We need an open source and stable API for third parties that anyone can develop for. However, do not let the ADHD take over here. It needs to be a cohesive thing, which means that this may be dead before it gets off the ground. Let's just be honest with ourselves. As many won't communicate what they're working on until it is ready, and then we're left with a dozen or so of these APIs. And of course, remember, Bambu has to allow it themselves. And so far, they have not done this. Obviously, at some point, Bambu could block all this. Let's not forget, there are terms of use that gives them carte blanche in the name of security. You know, security. But I certainly don't think anyone should have to go through extra steps to use a machine that they own just because a company wants full control. It's your machine. You control how to use it. It's not Bambu's anymore. Has anyone put thought into what would happen if the key system was reverse engineered, since we know how it's actually encrypted, we just don't know their master key for it, and that someone was able to remotely command printers to do something without user input? You know, like Bambu themselves did. It was a while back where machines were running without user input whatsoever. It was a cloud problem. Bambu, it seems like these security issues are ones that you do, not ones that users do. If it hasn't been clear, I don't like where this is going, and I'm worried about users, specifically those that, don't look for this kind of thing, or don't understand it, or just blindly trust the company, and will all of a sudden find themselves stuck and not know what to do, thinking they wasted money or they got scammed. In reality, they kind of did. This is a bit of a rug pull. And definitely misleading at best here. I worry that these print farm owners who have dozens, if not hundreds of machines, have workflows utilizing Orca Slicer will now have to either change it all, jump through a ton of hoops, or, risk their machines getting completely bricked. What do you all think of this? I know that I'm upset, but you all kind of know me as the guy that gets upset about companies doing this kind of thing. This just feels like the end shitification and a way to hide control behind security. And while, yes, this has not been incredibly technical, purposefully so, we can get more technical about it if you want. So let us know in those comments if you want a technical breakdown of this new software, how it works currently and such. But, you know, at this time, if you update to the new firmware, you are required to use it if you do not use Bambu Studios. Sounds a lot like HP to me, and Jeff Geerling happens to agree, saying, imagine if HP had you install an HP app on your computer, and every time you wanted to print a document in Microsoft Word, you had to have Word transfer the document to the HP app, then the HP app would be the only thing allowed to actually send the print job off. And while technically HP does do that for certain things, you'd be pretty pissed off if you had to do it all the time. I agree with Jeff and many other creators, including Louis Rossmann, who has done an amazing job just talking about this very frankly. Not very family friendly, but this situation calls for telling the truth. And if you do want to contribute, Louis has set up a wiki, and we'll link to it in that description, along with lots of the links and resources that we use to come up with everything for this video, where the entire situation is not only fully there for you. I wish this was available when I started researching for this video. Louis has committed to never letting any of it get taken down. This is a great place to maintain, you know, the truth, especially when there's misinformation going around. And users like Jeff, Louis, and others that aren't sponsored, aren't creators in this space, they have no skin in the game whatsoever. They are literally talking about this because this matters to them. They feel adamant about this. So thank you guys. And to the creators that aren't saying things, I really wish you would. I see both sides, but kind of is what it is. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm not a sponsored creator with Bambu like anyone was ever guessing. But I do thank the people that are speaking out, because the more of us that do speak out, the more people that know about this, the better that this gets out to the community. And well, the more pressure we can apply to make sure that you maintain your rights and that your machine stays your machine and not your machine with an asterisk at the end. To really summarize all of this, I don't think I could say it any better myself, so I'll let Bambu say it for me in their blog post where they're talking about working with E3D. When we launched our Kickstarter campaign, concerns were raised from the community that the proprietary design may limit the customer's choice on aftermarket components, patents may block future innovation, and what Bambu Lab will give back to the community after taking so much from it. Actions speak louder than words. Yes, they do, Bambu. Yes, they absolutely do. So you're limiting customers' choices on aftermarket components. You're currently getting sued over patent infringement by Stratasys, which we'll card to if people want to look at. And Bambu is really not giving a ton back to the community after taking so much from it. So yes, actions do speak louder than words. Those are your words, not mine. But I do want to give a huge thank you to all of our channel member supporters, whose names are listed right next to me at the $5 tier and higher. Without members like them, we would not be able to make videos like this, taking up so much of my time. Literally, I've got well over 50 Chrome tabs of just research on this entire thing, and over 2,000 words where I've written out a lot of what I wanted to say in this episode. If you do want to support the efforts that we do here, you can join for as little as $1 a month, and at the $10 tier and higher, you get to come hang out in our private Discord server where you've actually been able to see the first cut of this video and this cut, the second cut, completely raw before we even started editing it, so that you guys can give your feedback. That's what we love about having our community, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. And especially if you're a business, you'll definitely get your values worth out of it. All those links are in that description down below. Greatly appreciate any support, financial or otherwise. Right below me will be the entire PrintFixFriday series where we help you fix your printers, and quite frankly, I think this one might be the most impactful PrintFixFriday that we've ever done. So if you want to see some of the others, they'll be right below me. And next, that just because I'm feeling petty, will be our tour of Pursa Research. Hope you guys will enjoy it. And hey, maybe we can do more tours of awesome companies coming soon in the future. Let me know what other companies you'd want us to tour. Maybe we can get their attention and, you know, try to have them fly us out. That is all we have for you all today. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And hey, don't forget to leave a like and get subscribed. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one.